Hello, everyone. Let's begin with 10 to Midnight, a film which some folks do not think it's a slasher movie, but I think it is. And it's one I enjoy quite a bit. This is a film featuring Charles Bronson. This was released by Shout a few years ago. That's a great alternate cover. Yeah, so this is definitely a slasher film. Um, at least it's very slasher esque. Bronson plays a cop hunting down a serial killer. It's from the early 80s, I believe, 84 or 85. Actually, 83. Yeah, it's a J. Lee Thompson film, and it stars Andrew Stevens and Wilford Brimley, directed by J. Lee Thompson. So yeah, 10 to Midnight is definitely a slasher film. It's just a studio-made slasher film. And let's go on to the next one. This is my slasher collection video. And here we have Alone in the Dark from 1982, collector's edition. There's Donald Pleasance and Jack Palance, released by Shout. That's the theatrical poster art. This was a film made by New Line Films back in the early 80s. This is one of their earlier film productions, along with the original Elm Street, of course, in 84. Alone in the Dark. Very enjoyable slasher film. Studio-made slasher film. This one is has not been available on video up until Vinegar Syndrome released it. Berserker. I didn't like this one as much, to be honest. I wanted to like it, but I felt it was a little just too slow for my taste. And this is from 1987. 2 discs. Anchor Bay was supposed to release this back around 2001 or 2. Around that time, Anchor Bay was the boutique label, and they had a few films on tap. I think Madman was one of them, and this was announced to be coming soon from Anchor Bay. It never did. Nobody knows why. But here it is from Vinegar Syndrome, and it looks great. As usual, a typically great Vinegar Syndrome job on the transfer. Looks great. Looks fantastic. And Berserker from Vinegar Syndrome. Another Vinegar Syndrome title is Bloody New Year. This is a Norman J. Warren film. Norman J. Warren is a British director, for those who do not know. And that's the slipcover, that's the back. Bloody New Year is a very enjoyable. I did enjoy this one quite a bit. This was from the mid 80s, if I'm not mistaken. This is awesome. By the way, this is a great cover here. And this is from '86. Bloody New Year. From Vinegar Syndrome. Bloody Good Time. Bloody Good Time. The infamous The Burning from 1981. This is a 4K release from Shout. Shout does the original artwork for the covers now for their 4Ks. So that's it. I don't know if there's alternate artwork. Let's see. Nope. The quality on this disc is fantastic. This was an MGM owned film, so it was licensed from MGM. Lots of features. The Burning from Shout Factory. Here is the granddaddy of the slasher film, Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas on 4K. Everybody's favorite horror film, slasher film, or at least it should be on everybody's lists of favorite slasher films, in my opinion. This has 3 discs. Yeah, Black Christmas on 4K. It looks phenomenal as usual. And here is the 2006 remake in media book form. Some nice spot gloss on the eyes there. There were 3 variants. By the time I got to purchase this, this was the only variant left on Diabolic. I went with it. It's fine. I like it. This is a remake that is one of those that it turned out to be quite entertaining and not as crappy as a normal remake would be. Yeah, that was quite enjoyable. Black Christmas Remake 2006. Here's Blood Rage. This Thanksgiving, it's not cranberry sauce. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. That's the alternate cover. Multiple discs. Nightmare at Shadow Woods. I think this is an alternate version of the film. Lots of features. This is quite packed with features. A typically good Arrow job. Arrow seems to have forgotten where they came from, and they don't release as many slasher films as they used to, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Here's Bloody Birthday, a slasher film with kids in it. From the early 80s. This is about 82, is it? Around 82. Yeah, Bloody Birthday. Here's a double feature of Bad Dreams and Visiting Hours. This one is not actually a slasher film, but this one is. And it features Michael Ironside. This is a Canadian film from 1982. Quite enjoyable. This is a film set at a hospital. and it's from Fox. So you'll never see this again on physical media. Sadly, Fox is now owned by Disney, as everybody knows. Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. This is Severin's new 4K release. This art was on the Code Red DVD. And here's the alternate artwork for the case. There may even be more art. Let's see. Is there more art? Yeah, there actually is more art. Yeah. That's that, but I do prefer this. So let's keep it at this one here. Looks very retro, and I love the look, the design of this sleeve. There we go. Yeah, Nightmare Maker from Severin Films. Great looking 4K. Great slasher film from the early 80s. He's an Australian slasher film. This is Blood Moon. Also from Severin. Yep, Blood Moon. Have not seen it yet, but I am looking forward to it. This is definitely a slasher film. Some people do not think it is, but it is. It's a slasher film, and this is a custom black case. It looks great on black. Curtains, the ultimate nightmare. Quite the iconic doll there from the film. Very enjoyable film. Canadian in nature. Curtains from Synapse. Maybe it'll be on 4K at some point. Cutting Class, the 4K from MVD Rewind. Early appearance by Brad Pitt. Comes with a poster. Some nice retro art on the discs. Yep, Cutting Class from 1989 on 4K. MVD Rewind. Here is a seasonal slasher film, Christmas Evil. The Night He Dropped In. Nice cover. Slip cover. Yeah, Christmas Evil. This one is from 84, I believe. Cheerleader Camp on DVD from Anchor Bay. Sadly, this has some rights issues, so we may not see an upgrade on Blu-ray or 4K, much less 4K. The director apparently passed away a few years ago, and the producers who now control the film appear to want a bit too much money for it, so it's not likely that we'll see this on Blu-ray at anytime soon, at least. Now, as far as modern slasher films, I don't like them all, but I do like some, like Cherry Falls. Cherry Falls is a really good modern slasher film, featuring Brittany Murphy, rest in peace, Jay Moore, and Michael Biehn from Aliens. I did enjoy this quite a bit. I don't know how. Um, if this is still in print, it may be out of print. Who knows? I have no idea, or how hard to find it is. But hopefully, they're still available for those of you who want to track it down. And here is a double feature of Cherry Falls and Terror Tract. Um, this was not part of the original release. I stuck that in there to make it a nice combo pack because I didn't want to get rid of the discs. Once a new edition of a film is announced, I tend to want to get rid of my older editions. Sometimes I don't want to get rid of them, so what I do is I just I simply combine them. I find a 2-disc case and just make these combo packs. So yeah, that worked out just fine here, just perfectly fine. Here's some of the art. There's no alternate cover, just some artwork in the back there. Yep, Cherry Falls, one of the more enjoyable modern slasher films, in my opinion, and glad to have that in my collection. Here is an Aussie slasher film. This is Cut. This features Molly Ringwald, Jessica Harper, or I'm sorry, Jessica Napier, and some other folks. Oh, and Kylie Minogue. Let's not forget Kylie Minogue, the singer. She's in this. It's from Umbrella, as you can see. It's got the slightly thicker case that they like to use. It's about a group of film students making a film that turned out to be a real life thing. So yeah, Cut from Australia. Drive-In Massacre from Severin Films. This is from the 70s. Quite enjoyable. Nice artwork as usual. From Synapse, here's The Dorm That Dripped Blood. A Crash Course in Terror. I enjoyed this quite a bit. This features Daphne Zuniga from The Fly 2. That's the back. I don't know if there's alternate artwork on this, and there is. Let's check it out. Also known as Pranks. I had completely forgotten that. Yep, fun film. From the mid 80s. Let's double check. 1984. Yeah. Pranks. I may use this cover. I don't know. I dig this cover. I dig them both. But it does. This cover looks better in the black case. Black cases make everything look better. So I wish I could find more of these more easily. It's a Blu-ray, DVD Blu-ray combo pack, but I don't have the DVD anymore. Here's my copy of Death Screams. It's still sealed because this is an Arrow exclusive. I think I had both versions, but I think I sold the other one. This one is still sealed, as you can see. This is the alternate version. This wasn't an Arrow exclusive. This is from 1982, and I do love the retro design there for the back cover. It makes it look like an old VHS rental. Yeah, Death Screams. He wants your body in pieces. Here is Don't Go in the House with another retro cover. You have been warned. multiple versions of the film. Nice poster, booklet. Yeah, this one's a very sleazy, hardcore horror film, hardcore slasher film from 1981. Very nice cover, very nice addition there. Here's Deadly Games, another Arrow title. I like how just plain this is. It just has the synopsis and that's it. You know, no specs, no quotes, no useless info. This is a brand new 2K restoration. It features Steve Railsback as he's playing Charles Manson. Okay, so this is the alternate artwork. I always try to use the alternate work on the covers. I want them to differ from the slipcover art. So, yeah. Deadly Games with Steve Railsback. Interesting slasher film. Doom Asylum. Originally released by Code Red DVD several years ago. Arrow decided to release it, re-release it, and it does look great, as expected. I think this one may have been shot on film, or at least edited on tape. Shot on film and edited on tape. Code Red's DVD was a bit dodgy looking, but Arrow went back and did a great remaster, and it looks fantastic. Not among my favorites, to be honest, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. I enjoy it quite a bit now that it looks great, and it's watchable and all that. So, yeah, I think, if they fix something up good enough, it may increase the appreciation. One's appreciation increases if the picture quality is very good. So that's definitely the case here for me, at least. This film is called Demented. This was released by Shout. I don't actually know if this is a slasher film, but it certainly has all the makings of one. Very nice. One I have not seen yet, but I do plan on watching it at some point. Here's Don't Answer the Phone. You'll know you're alone if you do. Vinegar Syndrome. I don't have the slipcover for this. It's just the retail version. Nicholas Worth. Here's a British slasher film. Don't Open Till Christmas. Some nice spot gloss on the title. 1984. It features Edmund Purdom of Pieces. Don't Open Till Christmas from Vinegar Syndrome. Another Vinegar Syndrome release is here's Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Nice slipcover art. Good spot gloss on it. And here's a classic VHS art that we all know and love. Yeah, Don't Go Alone. Don't go in the woods alone from Vinegar Syndrome. Here's Abel Ferrara's Driller Killer from Arrow. Classic horror. Classic slasher. Driller Killer, or The Driller Killer. Here's Midnight, one of my favorite slasher films from the early 80s. This one's falling apart a little bit. I may have to buy another copy of that. And it's a film that is also known as The Backwoods Massacre. Just shame about this, to be honest. Yeah, this is one of my favorite releases of all time, and for a favorite horror film of all time. Here's some great artwork on the case. Damn, what happened to this? I have to buy another one. Hopefully there's still copies available. It's Midnight. Actually, I didn't talk much about this. This features the guy from Reservoir Dogs. Forget his name actually, but Tierney, Lawrence Tierney. Yeah, this film was actually made by an alumni of the original Night of the Living Dead, John Russo. John Russo was the producer of this film. Yep, Midnight from Severin Films, with a messed up slipcover. Here's Mother's Day. This isn't really among my favorites, to be honest, but I had to have it, of course, for my collection. On 4K, looks great. It's a Troma film from 1980. There's the back. Mother's Day. Here's Moonstalker from Vinegar Syndrome. This was in one of the Homegrown Horrors collections. Quite enjoyable. Here's Edge of the Axe. This is a Spanish film. This one was okay. My favorite slasher film of all time. The Mutilator from 1984. Brand new 2K restoration of the unrated version from the original vault, from original vault materials. Quite nice. Yeah, I really like this one. I saw this one theatrically. I was very young, maybe about 8, 9 years old, and I never did forget this. By sword, by pick, by axe, bye bye. Yep, The Mutilator. Awesome slasher flick, and one of my favorites of all time. Here's the original Toolbox Murders from the late 70s. Blue Underground 4K. They do great 4Ks. Nothing on the back. Yeah, Toolbox Murders, classic slasher film from the 70s. Looking great on 4K. That's going to drive me a little crazy. Let's fix that. There we go. Much better. And just some embossing on that title there. Toolbox Murders. From 1982, here's Who Done It. AKA Blood Island, or Island of Blood. From our friends at Vinegar Syndrome, experts in slasher films. Here are a couple of Vestron titles, starting with Slaughter High, classic slasher from 1985. A little dusty there. I think they had to go to Europe to look for the film elements. Whatever was available in the U.S. was very poor and very poor quality. So they found in the U.K. they found a better print, or at least, if not the OCN, at least a better print of it, and it does look quite nice here. And I appreciate that they did all that, because I happen to love the film very much. And here's Blood Diner. I don't know if this qualifies as a slasher film. It may not. But it certainly feels like one, judging by the trailer. I don't think I've seen this film in its entirety. It felt more like a comedy to me at some point. So I may have just stopped watching it, and I just never got back to it. But I do plan on finishing it at some point. So Blood Diner from Vestron, from Lionsgate, under their Vestron line. Couple of great titles. A slasher video collection would not be complete without this thing here, if I can get it off the shelf. And I'm talking about, of course, the Friday the 13th collection from Shout Factory. The remake from 2009 was announced for 4K recently, so looking forward to that. And I have a feeling that this will make it to 4K. A fantastic release from Shout. Back when Shout was doing really great stuff. These days, not so much. They're not doing a lot of good stuff, but maybe they're just undergoing a bit of a weak period. But yeah, the massive Friday the 13th box set from Shout Factory with all the films plus the remake and Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell, and even Freddy vs. Jason, which I do not like. But yeah, that is a massive set, and glad to have that on my shelves. Here's Fatal Games from Vinegar Syndrome, a 1984 film, a slasher film that was said to be impossible to release because there were no elements, but Vinegar Syndrome came through. They always come through. Fatal Games from Vinegar Syndrome. Thank you very, very much for that, my people, my friends. Here is A Day of Judgment from Severin Films. From 1981, A Day of Judgment. This one is called Snapshot. This is from Powerhouse or Indicator in the UK. This could be. This could not be classified officially as a slasher film, but in my eyes, and in my opinion, I think it is. I think it's the very definition of a slasher film. So yeah, it's a nice addition here from Indicator on 4K. It looks very nice. Glad to have it in my collection. So that's Snapshot with Chantal Canturi from Thirst. Let's put that back. All right. Here's The Initiation. Again with Daphne Zuniga. This is a very enjoyable slasher film from 1984 from Arrow. Great artwork. Yeah, The Initiation. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Here's Graduation Day from Troma Films. Hopefully a 4K pops up at some point. Graduation Day. Here's Night School with Rachel Ward from Warner Archive. Great film. Night School. Here's The Last Matinee, a film from Uruguay. A very good film from Uruguay. A very good slasher film. Very enjoyable film, I thought, and this was a blind buy. I'm glad I picked it up. And it's now in my collection. Last Matinee from Vinegar Syndrome. From Agfa, here is The Last Slumber Party. Fun film from the mid 80s. That's the back. Yep. Last Slumber Party. This one may have, I think, sold out pretty quickly. But I'm sure there are retail versions or regular versions still available for anyone who wants to pick that up. Here's Intruder, the supermarket slasher film. Soon to be getting a 4K from Synapse Films. This is the director's cut. And it includes the work print. 200 out of 500 copies made. Very interesting. Very interesting. I forgot that it had that. And here's the DVD version. This may not be part of the original release. I don't even remember, because this is a Blu-ray DVD combo pack, and there's only 2 slots here, so this may actually be just something I added to it, which means I don't need the DVD, which means you can go bye bye. Yep, I've got the work print, and it's a keeper. Intruder from Synapse, soon to be getting a 4K. I don't know when, hopefully this year, but it's coming. Here is one of my favorite blind buys, the Girls' Night Out. This is an upgrade from an old Media Blasters DVD. This is the alternate artwork, Arrow exclusive, I believe. Here's another great retro design for the back cover. Looks a bit like an old Thorn Emmy VHS tape. Yep, quite enjoyable, and a must for any slasher fan. Believe me, if you're a slasher fan, you need to have this. This should be in your collection, by all means. This one is probably not a slasher film, but it's thought of as one by many folks, including me. This was this came out in early January 2024, right before Shout stopped doing, good stuff. So this was a great release. It looks great. Finally on legit Blu-ray, right? Before it was only available in gray market DVDs that looked like crap, and that's now a thing of the past, thanks to this release from Shout. It's a Canadian film with a twist ending. Here's the alternate Canadian title, Cries in the Night. This film features Leslie Donaldson from, I believe, Happy Birthday to Me. Funeral Home from Shout Factoire. Here's Fade to Black with an awesome slipcover. Here, some spot gloss. It's a great little slasher film from '81. Looks great, as always. Eric Binford lives for the movies. Sometimes he kills for them, too. Yep. Another great release by Vinegar Syndrome, Fade to Black. Moving on, we've got The Forest from Code Red, Daddy's Gone a Hunting. This edition is the repressing with a slipcover. This did not come with a slipcover at first. It was repressed to include the slip. Not a great film by any stretch of the imagination, but I do enjoy it. I love anything to do with forests and killers in forests. I will always have a soft spot for. Code Red. This film was a staple of video rental shops back in the day. I remember clearly the big box. There was a big clamshell box with either this or similar artwork to this, and that brings back memories. The Forest from Code Red. Here is a quintessential slasher film and one of the best ever made, The Final Terror. Culled from 6 different prints owned by collectors. Apparently the camera negative is gone or missing or whatever. But it does look great here. And before this, the only thing available was a VHS, which again looked like crap. But this was made from prints, so it does look the best it's ever gonna look, I guess, unless they find that camera negative. But I'm just glad to have the film looking good and on Blu-ray for the first time ever. The Final Terror. Same guy who directed The Fugitive. The Fugitive and at least one Steven Seagal film, and I believe Under Siege with Steven Seagal. So 2 Steven Seagal films. Yeah. Great movie. Highly, highly enjoyable. Here's Final Exam from Dark Force. In 4K, looking great. Final Exam. Let's move on. We've got Lucio Fulci's The New York Ripper. This is, of course, the 3-disc limited edition with the lenticular slip there. Classic slasher film from the maestro Lucio Fulci, 1982. Lots of extras, lots of discs, lots of goodies. New York Ripper, Lucio Fulci classic film from the early 80s. Glad to have that on Blu-ray at least. I don't know if it'll be on 4K at any time, but there's always hope, right? Here is Romano Scavallini's Nightmare. On 4K. Yikes. That's the traditional cover that was on the Code Red DVD many, many moons ago. This is a multi-disc set. with a documentary that looks interesting. Yep. Nightmare. Romano Scavolini. Here we've got Night Screams, another rescue. Another Vinegar Syndrome rescue. Rescue from obscurity, that is. Some nice spot gloss on that. Another edition with multiple versions. I didn't know that had this. Let's use that for the alternate art, shall we? Night Screams. I love how this company just resurrects these old films and somehow finds usable prints. And this is a 4K, so I'm quite surprised that this is a 4K, being that it's such an obscure film. But I'm glad it's on 4K, and, or at least properly released, so we can see what's going on. A lot of these old discs, these movies, didn't look very good on VHS. It looked very dark and hard to see. Here is a classic slasher from 1983. Here's MVD's House on Sorority Row with their great slipcover here. Total classic. Got a poster and everything. Yep, I love this one. This one's very, very enjoyable. Catherine McNeil and Eileen Davidson. House on Sorority Row. Here is a British slasher film, Lighthouse. This is a UK import on DVD only. Very enjoyable film. Not to be missed, is right. The Lighthouse, 1999. AKA Dead of Night. Here's Killer Party. From Shout. This is a Warner license. Fun film with demons and whatnot. Here's Hell Night. Classic slasher. Pray for Day. That's the classic artwork. Traditional artwork on the cover of the case. And yeah, this was another rescue from Shout. These companies do these great releases of, it's just, we're living in such great times right now with horror films. I'm telling you, it's grateful to be alive. Here's another classic. Here's He Knows You're Alone from Shout Factory. This is another Warner pickup. Very enjoyable film, and it's a classic slasher. One of the best of all time. He Knows You're Alone from Armando Mastroianni, featuring Tom Hanks. Hide and Go Shriek from Code Red. Set in a furniture store. Very enjoyable. I love this one. Hide and Go Shriek. Twisted Nightmare, another Code Red release. Another film set in the woods. Not among the best, but still fun and still very, very watchable, I think. Here is Terror at 10 Killer from Vinegar Syndrome. Nice view. This was going to be released on Blu-ray by VCI last year, but thankfully they decided to just give it to Vinegar Syndrome, and they did a great job as usual on that. Enjoyable film, very, very fun film, good slasher film. Terror at 10 Killer. Here's Humongous from Scorpion Releasing in the US. This is a Canadian film from 1982. There's the classic art that we all know and love. Right? Humongous. This one has an audio glitch that is unfortunate, and it was never fixed, sadly, but it may get another release at some point. Hopefully it does, because it's quite enjoyable. Here is a studio slasher, Dressed to Kill, on 4K. Kino Lorber. Yeah, that's okay. Let's use that. Let's use that. Not great, but it's better to have different art than what's on the slipcover, I think. It looks great, I think. Dressed to Kill on 4K. This is an MGM film. And it's definitely a slasher film. Here is a classic slasher, Just Before Dawn. This was released by Code Red. What's this? Why is this here? It's interesting. Shouldn't be here, but here it is. Just Before Dawn. From Code Red. Classic slasher film. Here is Happy Birthday to Me, another classic. With the original VHS art. From Kino Lorber, one of my favorite labels. Here's New Year's Evil. This is a Canon production, licensed to Kino. Nice commissioned art. This is the original art that we are familiar with. Another seasonal horror film. New Year's Evil from Kino Lorber on Blu-ray. This is a new release, Nightmare Beach. It's an Italian film from 1988, I think, on 4K. That's Michael Parks, an actor that Quentin Tarantino likes very much. He's appeared in several Tarantino flicks, including the Kill Bill films. Here's the international artwork on the cover of the case. The film is by Umberto Lenzi and features John Saxon and Michael Parks from Kino's new sublabel, Kino Cult. Nightmare Beach. Here's one of my favorites, Slaughterhouse, with the awesome split slip cover there. Just slips right out. And here's the art. Very enjoyable horror film. Buddy has an axe to grind, a big axe. What did I do with the DVD version? Yep, it's got this cool little unique slip cover. Very, very nice. Just be careful when you pull it off the shelf, you might actually pull it out the wrong way and it might fall down or whatever. But yeah, nice little design there that you don't see very often. Slaughterhouse. All right, here are a couple of classics on 4K. These are Slumber Party Massacres 1 and 2. Something missing here. Oh, all right. What's missing is the Blu-ray editions. You've got both films on one disc, one 4K disc, and here's my copy of Slumber Party Massacre 3 on Blu-ray, which apparently will not get reissued. So this is a bit of a rare disc, and I'm glad to have it. Glad to have it. Slumber Party Massacre. Here's the classic Maniac. Now, there's a 4K disc in here. This is obviously a Blu-ray edition. I don't know why. I think it may be related to the reason why I'm using this packaging instead of the 4K, because I may be, hang on, it won't even come out. Quite a tight fit. Hang on. Very, very tight. Wow. You gotta force it out. You gotta force this fucking thing out. Here we go. Quite a thick case. I don't know if this even is the original. Is this even the original case for this? Anyway, the 4K should be in here. And there it is. So what I think happened here was I just chose to keep this packaging for the 4K because I don't think I liked the packaging for the original 4K release. So I just stuck it in here. Let's see if it comes out. There you go. So this is the Blu-ray edition Actually, it's not. This is just the extras. These are the Blu-ray extras. The Blu-ray disc, I probably just got rid of, and I just stuck this 4K inside. So there you go. 4K looks fine. This is a comic. And what is this? Is this a soundtrack? This might be a soundtrack CD. Here's a booklet, which are always cool to have, but I don't always read these. The lovely Caroline Munro. Yeah, I don't always read the booklets, but they're always good to have, I guess. This is just a advertisement for 50% off at Ebon Press. If you want that, you can use the code to get a discount. Blue36. So yeah, Maniac. William Lustig's Maniac on 4K in Blu-ray packaging. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I chose to keep this because of the cool lenti there. Let's try and slide that back in there. See if I don't break it somehow. And here is the unofficial sequel, Maniac 2, from Severin, which is actually just the last horror film. This film also features the actor here. There he is. It's an unofficial sequel, but it's still considered a sequel to Maniac, even though it's called The Last Horror Film. Here's a very extensive book that came with it. Very extensive indeed. Very thick. Looks like Gene Simmons. Le Frenetique. Yep, this is the last horror film from Severin Films, made to look like a sequel to Maniac, with Maniac 2, Live or Love to Kill. Yeah, cool to have, I guess. Let's put that back. Look good together. They look good together. Here's Sweet 16, one of my favorite slashers. It's got an alternate opening, which I love, and I prefer over the original opening. Here's Melissa, the lovely Melissa. It's called Red Release, and it's got also got a DVD edition. Yeah, Sweet 16. This is a custom cover. This did not come with a black case. I just made that myself. Made this release myself. Not the case, but this was my choice. This was not an original cover, but like I've said before, everything looks better in black, so that's good to have. Here is Scream on 4K from Dark Force. This one seems to be universally reviled, but I enjoy it. And Dark Force made a bold decision to release this on 4K. And it looks great. Scream from 1981. Here's Stage Fright, an Italian film. Classic slasher film, but made by Italians in the mid-80s. Here's Michele Soavi, the director. I think this booklet may be from a different release. Yep, Stage Fright from Blue Underground. It's been said that these guys don't have any interest in putting this out on 4K for some bizarre reason. I think it's stupid, really, but because it's a classic slasher film. It needs to be on Blu-ray, on 4K. If you guys agree with me, please leave a comment below. I'm sure most of you do agree that Stage Fright should be on 4K. Here is Looker. Now, this one is one of those films that may not necessarily be a slasher film, but it's got slasher film tropes. It feels like a slasher film. It looks like a slasher film. To me, it's a slasher film. And this one stars Albert Finney and James Coburn. This is from Warner Archive, as you can see. It is a custom clear case. Yep, Looker from Warner Brothers, 1981. Another film that may or may not really be a slasher film, but here's Mountaintop Motel Massacre. This is a Vinegar Syndrome edition. The film is from New World Pictures, Roger Corman's 80s version of New World, now controlled by Lakeshore. That's the alternate cover there for the case. I do enjoy this one quite a bit. There's some spot gloss on that. It looks nice. Yeah, one of Vinegar's better slipcover designs, I think. That's the back. Yeah, Mountaintop Motel Massacre. And classic slasher film, Splatter University, made by Troma in 1984, or at least distributed by them. So Troma didn't make. Troma also distributed films. They didn't always distribute their own films, but they distributed other films made by other companies, and this may be one of them. This is among my favorites of all time, and this is the back. Yeah, great cover. Great design there. This is the classic artwork. Earn a higher degree in terror. Ha ha ha. Splatter You from Vinegar Syndrome. looking great as always. Killer's Delight from Vinegar Syndrome. This is more of a proto slasher. It's from the 70s. Quite enjoyable, I think. That's some great alternate art. Yet more art. The Sport Killer. Very 70s looking artwork there. Also known as The Sport Killer. Killer's Delight. I think this may have been released by Media Blasters back in the day. I could be wrong. Sometimes I am. Memorial Valley Massacre. This is one of the more rare films that has been rescued by the Vinegar Syndrome. Some spot gloss there. This is the back. That's some great artwork. An action-packed adventure. Memorial Valley Massacre. Here's Hatchet for the Honeymoon, a Mario Bava film. This is more of a creature feature, but it's considered a slasher film by many, including myself, and it's among my favorites. It's filmed by J.S. Cardone, who also directed or wrote, or both, The Forsaken for Sony in the mid-90s. Very enjoyable film and looks great. Maniac Cop. Here are the 3 Maniac Cop films. These are classic slashers. These 2 are from Blue Underground, as you can tell, obviously, and this one's from Synapse. These feature Bruce Campbell and Tom Atkins. And these are the Blu-ray DVD versions. I didn't upgrade them to 4K because I'm happy with the Blu-ray editions. I don't need to upgrade everything to 4K. These look fine on Blu-ray to me, and they're good enough. And these are very good editions. Maniac Cop 2. These are films made by William Lustig. William Lustig is the gentleman who runs and owns Blue Underground. The guy who directed the original Maniac and many others. Vigilante. Here's part 3, Badge of Silence. Again, these are classic slasher films. These are classic slasher action and more action oriented slasher films, but they are definitely still slasher films, and they're quite good. They're quite good. Up next is another quintessential slasher film, Madman. Madman Mars. This is from Vinegar Syndrome. And this is a 4K. His name is Mars. Madman Mars. Yep, I love this one. This is a classic, quintessential granddaddy of slasher films, just like The Mutilator. Stripped to Kill, featuring Kay Lenz and Greg Evigan. It's a film by Kat Shea. It's a Scorpion release. And this film also features Final Judgment. I don't know why that doesn't say it on the cover, but yeah, this is a double feature. And Stripped to Kill. Very enjoyable film. Here's another classic, My Bloody Valentine, on 4K, as you can see. Multiple discs. Classic art on the cover there. And also the slipcover. I wonder if there's... Nope, no other art. That's fine. But this is definitely one of the classics of the genre. My Bloody Valentine. You guys have any of these films in your collection? Let me know below. Let me know which ones you like best. Which ones you hate. Here's Silent Madness in 3D. Two pairs of glasses. Yeah, I did enjoy this one. And this was another one of those long lost slashers that was rescued. Here is Rush Week. Here's the Stepfather and media book edition. This is coming soon to 4K. This is a sequel on DVD. And this is the Blu-ray edition. Classic slasher film, The Stepfather. Nice little media book. Olivia. Here's To All a Good Night, a film by David Hess. Not very good, but I did still enjoy it to a certain point. Here is The Redeemer, The Son of Satan from Code Red. Here's Valentine from Vinegar Syndrome, modern slasher film. It's all right. It's not half bad. Valentine from Vinegar Syndrome. Here is Nightmares, an Australian film. This is an Australian film, but a U.S. release. That's Jenny Newman. Jenny Newman was in Hell Night. Very nice. Yep, Nightmares from Umbrella Films with a great little slip cover there. This one is probably not considered a slasher film, but it's definitely slasher. Here's Alice, Sweet Alice, featuring Brooke Shields. Very nice Arrow slipcover design. Here's the original art. And this was one of those films that were lost. You know, not really, it never really had a good release. Some dodgy great market releases, and I think it got at least one official release from some unknown company, but which I don't even recall what the name was. But Arrow has come to the rescue once again and given us a great edition, great looking edition on Blu-ray. And yeah, this is definitely a slasher film, folks. This is the very definition of a slasher film. For sure. Love this film to death. Always did since I was a kid. So I'm glad to have that. Oh, and it does have a nice poster. I may hang that. I'm not really a poster guy, but some posters I really do like, and that one I did take a look at it before, and it looks great. So I may make the effort to hang that one. Alice, Sweet Alice. Here's a 70s slasher film by Jim Sotos. Jim Sotos has made other films like Hot Moves and most notably Sweet 16. It features Tanya Roberts. And it's also known as Forced Entry. This apparently was a remake of a hardcore triple X film. It's a remake, remade into a slasher film. So this is The Last Victim, and then this is a Dark Force release. Blood and Black Lace from Arrow. This is the steelbook, as you can see, and it's a great design. I didn't buy the 4K edition. I thought this was fine. This, again, I don't need to. I didn't even like the film very much. Sorry to say, I know it's considered a high classic art house of horror film by Mario Bava, but I did enjoy it. It's just not among my favorites. So the Blu-ray is more than sufficient for me. And it's got some great artwork. Look at that. Fine art there. Nice booklet. And yeah, Blood and Black Lace with that nice little spot glossing there. Tiny Tim in Blood Harvest. This is the Vinegar Syndrome edition. 88 Films also put it out. Here's Bloodhook, what Vinegar Syndrome calls a comedic slasher film. It's a rare, long-running slasher film at 1 hour and 10 minutes, 1 hour 11 minutes. I'm sorry, 111 minutes. That's 1 hour and 41 minutes. So it's quite long. Definitely longer than a traditional slasher film, which usually run from 75 minutes to 85 minutes. And that's the artwork, alternate artwork. And this is, of course, the slipcover edition that's sold out pretty quickly, and which I love. A little hard to reach some of these titles because I've got them all on a shelf right beside me. Here are all the Scream films, 1 through 6. These definitely are slasher films. We begin with the classic original. This is the 4K Steelbook edition. Looks great. And if anybody wants a code, there you go. No charge. Do you like scary movies? Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4 on Blu-ray. The rest are 4K. Apparently a Canadian release because it's got the French-Canadian title. Frisson 4. Here's 5 also on Blu-ray, and it's the last one, 6, which I did enjoy quite a bit. Very good films that I enjoy. At least the first 3 are very good. The rest are all right, They're nothing special though. But yeah. Here's Prom Night. Classic slasher. With Jamie Lee Curtis. Nice artwork there. And Prom Night 2 on DVD. And 3 and 4. Prime candidates for the Vestron line, since these are from Lionsgate. think they're just a single disc. Yeah. It doesn't matter. They're short films and they fit perfectly fine on one disc. Yeah, Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss, and 4, Deliver Us from Evil. Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Great films. Not, they're not all classics. They don't need to be classics, right? So here is Scream for Help, released by Shout. Shredder, a Scorpion release. Death to Snowboarders. This is a film from 2003, released by Scorpion again. April Fool's Day was going to be on this video, but I forgot I sold it off in anticipation of Kino's upcoming 4K release, which I haven't heard anything about in a while, so hopefully it's still on tap. Here's Trick or Treats, not to be confused with the 1986 film that's coming up from Synapse and Red Shirt Pictures. This is the 82 version, 1982 version, released by Code Red. Again, not a film that may not be considered slasher, but it really is, to be honest. It really is a slasher film. Trick or Treats, featuring David Carradine and Steve Rail's back again, and Carrie Snodgrass. Carrie Snodgrass was in Murphy's Law with Charles Bronson in 1986. Here is Savage Weekend. Quite enjoyable film from the late 70s. More of a thriller, psych thriller, but very much a slasher film. It's got slasher film tropes. Here is the Urban Legends collection from 88 Films. Nice rigid hardbox. It's got the original Urban Legends Final Cut and Urban Legends Bloody Mary. That's the back. That's a Shout disc. What's that doing there? They're both Shout discs. I guess I'm using the Shout discs. I'm using the 88 Films case for the Shout discs. It's fine. Not a problem. Cards. Yeah, these are the Shout discs in the 88 Films case. Here's Final Cut. Again, from Shout. I did enjoy these films quite a bit. These are one of the better modern slasher films that are actually enjoyable. And I have not seen part 3 yet. Here's a booklet that 88 Films included here. And the box has got this nice kind of metallic sheen to it that my camera is not necessarily capturing. But yeah, it's quite nice. And I do love the design. Yeah, so 88 Films put this out. I've got discs from a different release here, which is fine. And that's the spine. Yep, Urban Legends collection. This was just released by Umbrella. It's the Ozploitation collection, Volume 1. It's got, I think these are slasher films. I'm not sure. I know this one is. They may be thrillers in general, but I mean, I'm including this here because at least one of these is a slasher film. And yeah, I just got that. That's from Umbrella. Here is Invisible Maniac from Vinegar Syndrome. This is an obscure slasher that has not been seen in years, and it's a 4K edition, as you can see. Vinegar came in and rescued this one from obscurity. That's what they do, and they did a fine job on this one. This is a great slipcover. Here's Girls' School Screamers, also from Vinegar Syndrome. If I'm not mistaken, this is also a Troma film. Yeah, I like this one. And here's Delirium. This is more of a thriller, but it is a slasher film from the late 70s, I believe. And it's got some nice spot gloss on that slip. A bit of damage there. Delirium from Severin Films. What else? We got Bloody Moon I think it's called. Yeah, Bloody Moon. This is a Jess Franco film. And Severin came up with this this great alternate slipcover for it. Yep, one of Jess Franco's rare slasher films that I enjoy quite a bit. Let's see, we got what do we got? High Tension is definitely a slasher film. It's a new wave French film from the 2000s, but definitely a slasher film. And this was released by Second Sight. .4K looks terrific, as expected, as it should, I guess, because the film isn't that old. And one of Second Sight's typically awesome booklets. An unusual film, to say the least. It rubbed some people the wrong way, I guess, but it's generally highly regarded as among the better more recent films. And it really is. It really is. It's it's controversial a bit, but it's different, right? It's good to be different sometimes. Here is the I Know What You Did Last Summer collection from 88 Films, and I definitely have versions from other releases in here. Another of their great rigid boxes. Dust on that. Sorry about that. Nice metallic sheen. And let's see what we got. We got a 4K of the original in Blu-ray packaging. 4K looks phenomenal. This is from this is definitely a U.S. release from Sony directly. The booklet is from '88. The 4K of the sequel, also from Sony. It's the 25th anniversary edition, as you can see. Great modern slasher film. Even part 2 is good. Part 3 I have not seen, and I've heard bad things about it, but it's nice to have, I guess. I mean, there were 3 films made, so I need to have all 3 in my collection. So yeah, that's Ice. I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Here are some more art cards. Thankfully, these fit quite nicely in here. These are a bit hard to reach. Top shelf. Here we go. We've got Evil Laugh from Vinegar again. This one was okay. Nothing great, but still fun. Still fun to watch. Evil Laugh. The Silent Night, Deadly Night films. That's the original from Shout. Definitely slasher films. Here's part 2. Also Shout. And here are the Vestron sequels 3, 4, and 5 from the Vestron series collection. A fun collection of films that are in name only. They're really in name only, but they're still fun, quite enjoyable, and very happy to have these in my collection for sure. Here is Offerings from the late 80s. This is a Dark Force release. Yep, Offerings. Down to the wire here. Last few titles. Pledge Night. A fun slasher film, a college-themed slasher film with jocks playing pranks on people and whatnot. Nice artwork. The back. This one's from 88, I think. 1988. Yeah, Pledge Night. And this one has some nice spot glossing. It's fun, very fun slip cover there. Yeah, I did enjoy this one quite a bit, so happy to have that in my collection. Here is a slasher classic, lost to time and rescued by Arrow Video. And this is The Prey, of course, from 1984. It's got, this version contains a longer version of the film, which is it's quite interesting, but it's not really, it's good to have, and it's good to check out, but stick with the theatrical on this one, trust me. As much as I love extended cuts, the extended cut here doesn't do the film any favors. But again, it's still great to have, and great to see that footage that was never seen before. I mean, I don't think anybody has ever seen that extra footage before, and there's quite a bit of extra footage in there. And again, it's nice, and it's nice that Arrow brought it out, made the footage available. But still, the theatrical version is still, the one to watch. It's not a great film by any means, but it is a slasher classic, and it was long lost, only available on VHS. It was one of those situations where, we were pretty sure we were not going to get a legit home video release of the film, and it turned out not to be the case, thankfully. And Arrow did a great job with it, as always. This is a cute little prop reproduction from the film. The usual booklet, and it's got 2 discs with the extended cut on it, or the international cut, as they're calling it. And there's the commissioned artwork. But I always prefer to stick with the original artwork, and this one is definitely iconic. So I will keep that as my cover here. Yeah, The Prey from 1984, released on VHS by Thorn Emmy. Thorn Emmy home video. Here's The Prowler from Blue Underground. This is a Blu-ray edition. It's not available on 4K, and it doesn't look likely to happen due to a lack of usable film elements, sadly. The film is also known as Rosemary's Killer. I really enjoyed this one. It's got Tom Savini, effects by Tom Savini, and it's from the early 80s, and I love it. It's great. It's a classic slasher film with effects by Tom Savini. Directed by Joseph Zito. Joseph Zito also directed Missing in Action. Here we've got, let's see if I can reach it. Here we've got Pieces. Pieces is one of those classics that you just can't get out of your mind. If you're coming into this film for the first time, prepare to be blown away by it. Hopefully you like and enjoy slasher films, because people who come into films like this for the first time and aren't really fans of the genre, they will come away from it kind of disgusted, and they're probably going to go on a forum and say it's a piece of shit. But that's to be expected. Again, if you're not a true fan of hardcore, gory, and no holds barred films, you may want to think twice about getting into this one blind, because it's pretty hardcore. That's no joke. And but to slasher enthusiasts, this film is considered a high classic of the genre. It's one of the best ever made, and this edition from Grindhouse Video is fantastic. It's only a Blu-ray, but it does look great, and it's got it features a different, or at least original soundtrack to the film, which is unique. I thought it was a bit annoying, that Librador version of the soundtrack, but it's still very interesting to listen to, and great to have it available here. Here's the Blu-ray, and behind that is actually there are two Blu-rays. This is they're both Blu-rays, and as you can see, there's lots of extras, pieces. Here's the soundtrack, and here's the booklet, and here's the soundtrack in a separate cardboard thing here. Pieces. This is a Spanish film, a film from Spain that quite hard-hitting, I would say. Very hard-hitting piece of film history here. Pieces from Juan Piquer Simon, from Grindhouse Releasing. True classic of the genre. And my final entry for the slasher collection is The Phantom of the Mall. This was a blind buy purchase for me. This is an Arrow release, as you can see. Nice hard box, chipboard case here. It's a film from the late 80s, set in a mall, as the title suggests. Nice lobby card reproductions. Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge, from Arrow Video. Looking fantastic as usual. Great job with the transfer. And I think, is there an alternate version here? I think it might be an alternate version. This is the TV. Yeah, there are two cuts, actually. Two other cuts. The TV cut and the fan, what they call a fan cut. I don't know if I'll ever watch these cuts. Here's the commissioned artwork. Yeah, so 3 versions of the film. That's quite impressive. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do enjoy sharing my collection with everyone. I share the passion for films, the passion for physical media with all you great folks out there. This is truly an exciting time to be alive for movies in general, not just slasher movies, but movies in general. There's a lot of great stuff coming out. Film lovers have never had it so good. It's as simple as that. And again, a great time to be alive. And yeah, I will continue to buy physical media as long as I live, and I'll keep talking about it. I'll keep posting videos, sharing with you guys, and yeah, thank you for watching and sticking with me. And it's been a long haul. Um, but it was fun. It was fun to make this video and to show all this stuff to you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.